fucking go! You're listening to Bread and Circuses.
Was like the mob media, for one, is the entire world populated. Like everybody's on Twitter. Fucking the UK is on Twitter. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
unfortunately.
With Caleb Salvatore.
Well, they can't go to the comedy shows because there's a 2-drink minimum, and you can't mix the Percocet you've been stealing from work with liquor.
And Nick Koehler.
There literally be people in the fucking 80s that didn't know that nutting in a girl would make her pregnant.
No one's asked that question. What did those families do to provoke Alex Jones like that?
You know what'll solve all of these racial police protests? A Pepsi.
What the fuck is up, friends? Welcome to this week's episode of Bread and Circuses. I'm Caleb Salvatore, one half of the show.
This is Nick Koehler. We're just back from getting trampled to death at Astro World.
Yep,
here,
we did.
Feeling fine.
Yep, feeling good. A little bit of soreness, but no, not really. Again. Astro World and all that. We talked about that last week. I'll start with that story I was going to tell you about. So Monty Scott and I, he's a comedian, we send each other like YouTube videos back and forth of just ridiculous shit all day because we both work at home and don't do, and get bored and shit. So we found this one video. It's on the soundboard prank call thing, right? So it's one of those. It's this soundboard called Meat Grinder Mike, and he got the nickname. Mike. Okay. Yeah, he got the nickname because he's like famous for like threatening to kill the callers with various like meat preparation tools. Like he's gonna kill you with a meat tenderizer and stuff. So they got his soundboard and they went on the back pages and they just called a bunch of escorts. And as soon as the girls picked up, it'd be hello, and you just hear, "I'm gonna kill you if I find you." It was so soundboard. Sick. Yes, it was a sound. It was so sick, and you could tell who like the new hookers were because they'd be the ones that would freak out, be like, "I'm calling the fucking cops," and then like the OG prostitutes and escorts, they'd just be like, "Oh, come on down." Like they've been doing it long enough. They know someone has a reason to threaten to kill them. They just don't know who it is. Like, yeah, that's reasonable. Someone wants to kill me.
I wonder if anybody's ever done that with calling the phone hookers with the irate black man soundboard.
I will smoke you.
I got a big black dick.
That one's so over the top, though. That one's so over the top. Like, I like when they call with the soundboards of the police officers and people think they're talking to cops and they just get more and more riled up that they're dealing with just this idiot cop that won't listen to them.
Oh man, I know there's some of the irate black man though where he's talking kind of calm, like in the beginning,
where he's somewhat reasonable.
Yeah, then he's just progressively get more mad and mad. I'm a smoker, motherfucker.
Yeah, no, that's actual comedy. That's funny. You know what's not fucking actual comedy? So last night, my girlfriend and I were watching. We were pretty high, and Saturday Night Live was on, and I have not seen. I haven't watched a full episode in probably 15 years, and I have not seen more gutless writing than on that fucking show, dude. It is just corporate approved humor. It is dry. It is not funny at all. It is a train wreck.
Yeah, dude, it's really not. The new I've watched a couple episodes of it just like when I've been over at like family's house or something at night, you know what I mean? And they just happen to have it on, and like the Sunday update is like super lame. It's like, oh god. They have it. I know they have it where like they'll do like this bit where they have like the black guy and the white guy write jokes for each other.
Yeah.
But like there's a lot of room for like actual comedy in that,
right?
But it's not funny.
It's not,
man.
no.
Like,
it's all corporate approved bullshit humor, dude. Like Kenan Thompson's the only funny one on that show. He carries that cast. Yeah, I mean, I've
only been on it for like fucking 15 years now.
Dude,
or some shit.
They fired everyone else that's funny. They
fired them, or did they just
Norm
leave?
Macdonald got fired. I mean,
that was like. That was 15. Yeah, that's like 25 years ago.
That's how long it's been since SNL's been funny.
No, that's not true, man. Will Ferrell's SNL all day was really funny.
Okay, so maybe they didn't fire everyone. Everyone that's funny left.
Yeah, that's usually what happens. Everybody that's got any talent leaves. And which is funny that Kenan Thompson's still there, because Kenan Thompson's funny. Like
I know he could probably carry his own show if he wanted to and get off that. Well, what's happened has I don't even know if it's as much as the actors as it has been the writers. You get these comedy writers are basically just people that tried to become comedians. They tried to do it full time or whatever, failed at that, and then became writers. Well, who fails the most at comedy is woke people, because it's not fucking funny. So that's who's going to make up all of the writers are woke comics that aren't funny, and that's going to carry over into SNL shows like that and just ruin it.
Don't the actors though also like
some of them do? Yeah.
I think most of the good ones do. Like
but
think
they do have writers.
Is Pete Davidson still on SNL?
Yeah,
Pete Davidson's kind of hit or miss. He's funny in sometimes.
Yeah.
I think he's funny to chicks. Chicks are like, girls really like Pete Davidson.
I don't understand. Girls think he is fucking hot, and I'm like, dude, he looks like if a guy that looked like that came up to you on the street, you would run away.
He's the like looks like a loser, I could fix him kind of hot. Yeah, that's what girls like that. So
yeah, that him and Machine Gun Kelly, they're like best friends too.
They're like they look like they smell bad. Like
yeah, you can smell them from looking at that. Post Malone's and other Yellow Wolf, all of those guys.
Maybe it's the tattoos, man. I don't know. Like I think every guy. Well, I think every guy has like a thing too for like the tattooed up chick that looks like they'll totally ruin their life. You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah, like that Bailey Boswell that got convicted for that Sydney Loof thing.
Who? No, I have no idea. That? No.
Sydney Loof. It was in Lincoln. It was like a national story. It was that girl. She worked at Menards.
What was her name? Bailey Boof?
Bailey Boswell. She was the killer. Sydney Loof was the victim.
Bailey Boswell, huh?
Yeah, that's the killer's name.
No, that girl doesn't look. I don't know, man.
I saw a picture of her in court. She just looked like
the orange fucking outfit there.
Yep. That's
girl. That girl looks like she's gonna steal your stuff.
If you look up, how like Google will have like the like occupations for people. So if you like type in like Dave Chappelle, it'll be like comedian. I look up Sydney Loof. It says Sydney Loof, cashier. It's like, so she was a Menards cashier that like she went fucking missing, and there were these. It turned out she went on a Tinder date with some girl. It was the Bailey Boswell chick, and nobody had heard from her. And then her and Bailey Boswell and some like 55-year-old man chopped her into pieces or some shit like that. And it was,
damn,
it was fucked up. It was a bad ordeal. Missing white woman syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
I hate to side with the fucking woke people and stuff, but that's
not
a real
even
thing.
A woke people thing to say. Like Dave Chappelle says that shit.
Yeah,
man.
missing white woman syndrome.
Well, yeah, it's really true.
No, dude, it really is. Like all of these girls that we obsess over, they're attractive white girls from upper middle class homes. Like
who was the one girl that would that Dog the Bounty Hunter was looking for? I was watching a documentary of that.
Oh, Gabby Petito.
Yeah, I was watching the Gabby Petito like 2020 thing on there. Yep. I was just going like, man, like just another fucking white girl's going missing.
There's like thousands of Native women that are missing all over the country.
Black girls too, man.
Yep, black girls too. Probably being trafficked by your own United States government, which
maybe I don't know. I know there's a lot of Latino women missing, getting trafficked by the cartels and shit.
Cartels, yeah. Well, I mean, look at the fucking Epstein thing that's blowing the lid off of all of this shit. They're not talking about the missing black women and Native women because their bosses are probably involved in the trafficking of them. That's probably the reality of it. That's the same reason they're obsessively covering the Rittenhouse trial, but they won't talk about the Maxwell trial that's going on for Ghislaine. I don't.
Ghislaine Maxwell.
Yeah, whatever. She's a sex trafficker. She doesn't deserve her name to be pronounced properly.
Yeah, the whole like the covering the Rittenhouse thing is like the most annoying thing ever.
Dude, it's disingenuous.
I'm just like, bro, this shit happens in the fucking ghetto on a normal day all the time, man.
The problem with the Rittenhouse thing is the way they're covering it. Like if you look at, like I watched the fucking live court footage. The prosecution's getting their asses handed to them. There's no doubt about that.
And then you see that same photo of Kyle of like Rittenhouse crying.
Because that's all they have is a meme.
Literally all over every single major news publication, as if like they just fucking just all agreed that that's what they were going to try to like cover instead of like the actual trial being handled like by a bunch of clowns, man.
And that and fucking CNN like trying to spin it like CNN. The problem is it's going to be a bigger issue because CNN, MSNBC, New York Times, all these major mainstream media outlets are playing this like
the news places that nobody fucking should care about.
Right, but they're propping this up like it's a layup case for the prosecution, like that the defense is just bumbling idiots and they're getting their asses kicked and the prosecution's just sweeping through this whole thing when that's the exact opposite. It is so disingenuous. Their headlines and their reporting of it has been so disingenuous, and what they are trying to do is they want everyone to think that this is in the bag and only a corrupt or racist legal system would let this guy off. And he's going to walk on probably everything. Everything. He might get a misdemeanor, but he's going to walk on the murder charges and attempted murder and all that shit. And there's going to be more fucking riots. They are egging people on because they want them to think that this is going to get stolen.
If people riot over this, they're fucking retarded, man.
It's going to happen. And they're trying to make the judge out to be this white supremacist. Dude, the judge was a Democrat appointed by a Democratic governor. Like the judge is not this hard right Trump supporter. And his phone went off in the courtroom, and it was "God Bless the USA" by Lee Greenwood. And proud to be an American song, whatever.
Oh, that's racist, dude.
Yeah. Well, they played that. And CNN reported it as judge in Rittenhouse case. Phone goes off, plays song commonly played at Trump rallies. Like, God forbid a federal judge, be proud of his country, right? Play a song having an American pride song. I'm sure he's the only one, right?
I'm telling you, man, the CNN and all those other mainstream corporate medias are owned by the Chinese government.
Yep.
And they are told to run these fucking things that destabilize the country.
Yep.
On purpose, or otherwise the Chinese are going to pull all their investment out of it.
Yep, dude, they're fanning the flames. They want another riot. They can't talk about Trump anymore. They need something to talk about. So like I said, they're painting this as a slam dunk for the prosecution, and it's the exact opposite. And people are going to be pissed that haven't actually followed the trial.
Look this up right now because I've looked this up before. Let's see here. Chinese owned American media companies. What US companies are now owned by China? American companies you didn't know were owned by Chinese investors, i.e. the Chinese government, right? Let's see. AMC, General Motors, Spotify, Snapchat.
Wow. Snapchat's owned by the Chinese government?
Well, if they have investors, that means they're owned by them because they are now slaves to the Chinese government because
they've got, the Chinese government has laws. They have to report everything that's on that app to them. Your privacy is all going to the Chi-Coms. That I didn't realize Snapchat. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, let's see here. The New York Times is we gotta look through here. Let's see. Mexican billionaire Carlos Slim owns 17.4% New York Times. That's a lot for a company
that guy's not going to do anything, though.
Well, let's see here. Slim has regularly conducted business with Chinese companies with over ties to the CCP. So yeah, I mean, Washington Post, Jeff Bezos has got a bunch of Chinese investment. CNN, no surprise. MSNBC and NBC, ABC, Bloomberg. All of them basically owned major investment by Chinese-owned companies, i.e. owned by the CCP.
Damn.
Isn't that crazy?
That's fucking
Isn't that crazy? I'm telling
you,
they fucking beat us at our own game, dude. They fucking make these media companies run all of this shit to destabilize our country, or otherwise they're going to withhold money because that's,
they're not stupid. I mean, no,
they figured it out. They figured out how to beat America, dude.
It's not a standing war, a conventional war. Like, no, dude, China is fucking spooky because it's the first time in human history where you've combined capitalism and communism in such a bizarre way. Like, look at China. Like, some of the wages and stuff over there, economically, they're probably more capitalist than the United States. You got people working for cents on the dollar over there, fucking 68-hour weeks and shit like that.
I think saying just capitalist is a little fucking disingenuous. I think it's more of like they have like not as much labor laws as we do.
Yeah, not as many. Yeah, they're less. They're more
unregulated labor economy.
That's a better way to say it. But at the same time, the government as far as like stifling free speech and killing of opposition and just cracking down whenever they feel like it, is so communist. I don't, if it didn't directly affect us, it would be interesting to see how long it could last. Like, because
Right.
they've done a good job at stifling everything. There's really the only way that I could see, because any dissenters just get killed. Their people aren't armed. You know, they've got everything squashed. The only way that ends is an outside force coming in, and I don't think anyone's got the balls to go after them.
They don't, because basically, like I said, I mean, all of the media companies, and including like entertainment companies, movie companies, which was shown by that Mulan shit that happened.
Yep.
Basically everything that we consume for like entertainment purposes, whether it's news, movies, TV shows, all that shit, dude, it's all owned by the CCP. And you goddamn fucking crazy if you think the CCP is going to allow any kind of hit piece to be presented about them, you know?
But yeah, like, I mean, look at like LeBron James coming out and standing up for them when the Houston Rockets owner dissed them. You know,
look at like what happened with John Cena, dude,
yeah.
where he said Taiwan and he had to make the apology in fucking Mandarin, dude. That's like some
fucking insane.
That's crazy, man.
Fucking insane. And everyone wants to talk about how racist America is. Have you seen the Star Wars posters?
What Star Wars posters?
For the Star Wars movies, the US version and the Chinese version, they're the exact same
Oh,
poster,
yeah, they
except
got
the
the black
Chinese
guy
version
out.
cuts the black guy out. Yeah,
Mhm.
they are racist as all hell.
They are racist as fuck.
They fucking
black people over
commit
in China,
genocide against
man.
Muslims. Like,
Actually, they're racist as fuck against anybody who isn't Chinese, like who isn't Han Chinese, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
they're majority people. Fuck yeah, dude.
right, and they can tell. I can't. No, you can actually. I used to work in an area that was very heavy with Asian population, and you can figure out who's who by the dialect. They all talk differently. Like, it's all,
I've heard that,
because it's like the Chinese is more fast, the Japanese is very stressed and dramatic like that. The Koreans are very soft like this, and then you got the Vietnamese.
You know what you can really tell with Koreans is when they like. But the best word I used for it is actually saying Korea in a Korean accent, is saying career.
Yeah.
So,
they
like,
end with R's. Yeah.
Yeah, if something ends like in an it's like an like,
yeah. Yep. And then dude, the Vietnamese are wild, man. Like, with their accent is fucking out there. But that's how I figured out how to tell who was who and where they were from. Was you're around them enough and you can figure out the dialects are all different. So you may not be able to tell at first look. I actually could, because I got to a point where I was exposed to so many Asian people that I could tell. But it's all in the dialect and how they talk. But yeah, no, they are like, there is a lot of racism in those cultures against each other, especially against black people, like Jews. I mean, everything, man. Like,
yeah, they really don't like Muslims over in China.
No, they don't like any religion. Like, they don't want anything, because their religion is the state, which is honestly what a lot of fucking people here would like. But, you know, like,
basically,
you know, it's like that's my thing, is you see like these people that shit on religion and Christianity and stuff like that. You guys worship the state. Like, if Dr. Fauci told you to go out and fuck a horse today, you'd go do it because it's the science. Like, these people.
I'm telling you, man. It's not even that the mainstream news media, like these corporate media entities, want to like push a narrative or anything. Their narrative is that they want to destabilize a country, man.
Yeah, that's exactly
why
what it is.
They pushed the shit like Ebola when it wasn't going on back in the day. Like, they
division.
You know, they want to divide the country and destabilize it.
Yeah. They wanted to. They knew Ebola. Like, they knew that the only way you could get it is direct contact with the person's blood. It wasn't this fucking airborne disease, but they still tried to make it sound like that.
Dude, most people that you talk to now, because like the real world and like a real America isn't Twitter. Most of the people that you talk to are like reasonable people, and are like, yeah, the news here is like a bunch of bullshit. Like,
well, it's like Dave Chappelle said, Twitter isn't real life. It's a very, very small minority of people. And I think
a very loud minority too.
I think you're seeing a lot of, and you saw it in Virginia with those elections. They tried to pander to the fucking loudmouths on Twitter, and they found out that most of the people in this country aren't like that. Like, this country is center right, really. Like, the majority of this country is center right.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Not libertarian, not like it's center right. It's
The grillers.
Yeah, the majority of this country leans a little bit to the right in terms of, I want the police funded. I want my roads paved. I don't want to pay stupid high taxes. I want to be somewhat in control of my kids' education, that kind of shit. And the Democrats, they ran that fucking Terry McAuliffe or whatever. I followed that campaign because I was interested to see how that would go. That guy's whole campaign was basically, we own your children and also fuck you. Like that's what it was. He was just spitting in the face of these parents and then wondered why he lost. Like, who would have thought that, hey,
how bad did he lose?
It was like 8%, I think. And Virginia was like 10% in favor of Biden last year. So it was a big swing. So, I mean, you run your campaign like a douchebag. And the Republican candidate was smart because he didn't involve himself with Trump. He didn't use the word Trump. He didn't have Trump come campaign for him. He was never in the same room as Trump, and he won. And that's what people are figuring out, is that you have to get away from that just toxic mentality.
You know what I really think? Too, for at least like the Republican Party, I think Trump is going to, in the long term, be a good thing for the Republican Party.
What do you mean?
Because I think Trump has basically kind of showed that the neocons aren't in, like, nobody likes the neocons anymore.
Yeah.
And that the Republican Party kind of needs to rebrand themselves almost. Agreed. As if like being kind of like like you said, like the center right types, not like the Trump. Moderates. Yeah,
they don't need to rebrand themselves as the Trump Party, but yeah,
I think because of Trump, like, you basically, it showed like the Republican Party that the American population aren't wanting these like Ted Cruz types, these on like a national level, you know what I mean? Like these Ted Cruz types, all those other fucking nameless dickheads that tried to run against Trump, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they kind of need like
Jeb Bush.
Jeb Bush's. Yeah,
well,
right.
People are tired of the neocons that just want to spend everything on war, and they're also tired of the far right and far left. Like you said, the Ted Cruzes and the AOCs. Those people are retards, and we have to start treating them like that. Like,
Ted Cruz, a spineless fucking.
Oh, he's
slug,
a fucking
dude.
Snake, dude. He is a
fucking.
Like
the whole thing with him going to Mexico when the fucking shit was happening
fucking
here. Like,
snake.
You fucking kidding me, dude?
Fucking snake. Like so there was. It's interesting. I've read a couple articles on this. They call it the Barstool Conservatives after Dave Portnoy's brand.
Really?
It's younger people. They're economically they're right wing, right? They want lower taxes, stuff like that. But socially, they're pro-gay marriage, they're pro-marijuana, they're indifferent to abortion, they're pro-gun, and the cultural thing is really around free speech and cancel culture. They're anti-cancel culture, pro-free speech. The new social, but let's be real. The social war has ended, right? The old school left won on gay marriage, on marijuana, on abortion. That shit's kind of settled. That's not going to go anywhere. The new right versus left social battleground is cancel culture, shutting people down. Yeah, free speech. That's where the new battleground is.
Which is really funny because it used to be that. I remember when I was a kid, dude, the right wingers were like the non-free, like
they started
don't say anything bad about Jesus or the country or
the police, or the
police. Or the troops. Don't say anything bad about the Iraq war, even though it's a sham. Just don't say it. We know it. Like,
dude, the Iraq war or the COVID response is giving me real Iraq war vibes, right? If you even dare to question anything you've been told, you're basically an enemy of the people. That's essentially the same thing with COVID. Iraq was the same way.
Yeah,
if you question the weapons of mass destruction, like if you question, hey, there's not. What have we seen proof of the weapons of mass destruction? You were like,
why are we in Iraq? The guys that attacked us were fucking like linked to Saudi Arabia. Why are we in Afghanistan? Why are we toppling the Afghani government? Like, you're like, why are we doing all this?
Yeah, if you asked anything like that, you are an anti-American piece of filth. Now, if you ask anything like, hey, why do I have to vaccinate my 5-year-old when there's like 1 in a trillion 5-year-olds actually get real complications from COVID? Or you ask questions like, hey, why are we still threatening to lock the country down when it didn't work the first 3 times? When you start asking questions like that,
that's my big thing. Yeah. I'm like, why are we, I not so much the vaccine stuff for me. That's the deal. It's more of like the government response to the locking down the country and like,
Yeah.
Yeah, well, like with New York, like not allowing the sports players to play, and
Yeah.
like California and shit. I'm like, God damn, dude.
When you start asking questions like, do these lockdowns actually work? When do civil liberties actually play a factor in how we're going to treat this? Are you going to give these powers back? Because we know you're not. Then all of a sudden you're an anti-science redneck who wants everyone's grandma to die. And I hope you die of COVID. That's my favorite, is when people always tell you like, oh,
Yeah,
I hope you die
catch
of
COVID.
Like somebody said that someone shared a Zuby tweet in a group I was in, and people, oh, I can't wait for him to die of COVID. I'm like, Zuby's like 32 and in ridiculous shape. If he gets COVID, he's gonna be fine.
Yeah,
hate to
basically
break it
like
to
what
you.
they're saying about Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Like
Aaron Rodgers, Joe Rogan, phenomenal shape. They're not gonna die.
Yeah, I
of
remember
COVID.
they were like, people were like fucking cheering that like Joe Rogan caught COVID, and then
And
they
that-
were like, once they found out he was fine, they tried to make him look like an idiot, like he was
Yeah.
eating.
He took horse
pills.
medicine. Yeah, Joe Rogan went straight to the feedlot store. Joe Rogan, with his endless money and resources and contacts to doctors, went to a feedlot store because he read an internet meme. Yep, that's what happened. Yeah.
It was just like the whole thing was that it was just really disingenuous. It was like,
Yeah.
it'd be like, oh, they give fucking ibuprofen to dogs, therefore ibuprofen is dog medicine.
I would
you know what I
intervene.
mean?
Do not give your dogs ibuprofen. They will die in an hour.
Okay, not ibuprofen, like
Gabapentin. Gabapentin. They give them gabapentin after surgeries. And that's a human medicine. But yeah. So, like,
they give what the stuff that they use to put people like to sleep while they're doing surgeries. What's that?
Anesthesia.
Yeah, they give anesthesia. Like, oh, this guy gets fucking horse medicine before surgery. Like, yeah.
Well, I see people talking like comics I know on stage that are talking. They're on there like, yeah, oh, ivermectin, horse paste. You know, the corporate approved bullshit comedy. People I know personally, and I'm like, bro, you're making fun of people for doing horse medicine to treat COVID. I know for a fact you snort ketamine. That's actual horse medicine. I know for a fact you got a little K-hole problem there, and you're making fun of Joe Rogan. Like, really? Do we want to talk about this?
Oh my god, that's so annoying, dude.
But no, it's but yeah, no, it's exactly, it's disingenuous. Because I remember the New York Times, I think it was, published that article about Oklahoma hospitals were being overrun by ivermectin overdoses. Like people had gunshot wounds and couldn't be seen. It was one person. They showed a picture of a full ER in Oklahoma. Dude, it was July, and the picture like had people in winter coats on. Like they just fucking lied about everything, and people bought it and they didn't apologize for it. Like it was obvious bullshit. It was one person, and they said that hundreds of people. Like it's fucking asinine.
I urge everybody out there, like just don't pay attention to it, man.
Don't click their bullshit.
I don't even know the last time that I looked at like a CNN or watched CNN or watched like a New York Times or some shit. Anytime anybody like tries to tell me something about like, oh, something happened, and I'd be like, where'd it come from? If they're like the New York Times, I'm like, okay, can you have like a more reliable source? And that's basically New York Times. It's like what people used to say about Wikipedia like 20 years ago. Like,
no, seriously. There was
man.
One of my friends sent me this was news coverage about the Rittenhouse trial. Let me see if I saved it. It was listed as fucking news, and it was just the most insane partisan. I didn't save it, but I don't remember what the website was, but it was something along the lines of like, it's no longer enough for us to rely on the corrupt legal system to fight the fascists. We have to take it into our own hands and carry out justice on the streets. This was a fucking news article, not an opinion.
Like an actual, which was it? Where was it from?
Oh, fuck, he sent me. I didn't save it. It was like it was like Slate or something like that. One of those
143.
No, it's one of those companies that parades around as a legit news.
Have you ever seen that YouTube video or where they basically they have a fucking Google Chrome filter of like word filter that like add-on?
No.
That they can turn on. They turn it on and the ad filter is called literally Hitler. So you turn that on and it changes like white people, like it just auto filters the word like white people and whites and stuff to Jews.
Oh my God.
And all the fucking rhetoric that like gets pushed from like what was that one website like 5 years ago that everyone would laugh at that was like the chick one. It was like news like ran by women basically, and like everybody.
So something that obviously should be disregarded.
It basically, that's what it turned into. I don't think anybody ever like looks at that website now and like.
Here you go. Here's the Atlantic. President Biden keeps using the N-word. Here's why that's a good thing. That's a legitimate headline. How many fucking excuses can they make for this guy? Like, you got to stop covering his ass at some point.
Oh my gosh, dude.
I just can't believe some of the way, and we've basically made this whole episode about just how corrupt the mainstream media, which is fine because you fucking talk for hours about that.
Yeah, we're very specific about it.
Fuck them. We're not as big as them, but fuck them. That's like, and I want people to be clear because we catch a lot of shit, and I know there's a lot of fucking journalists that work for like 45 cents an article that get butthurt when we say this. We're not talking about you. We're not talking about the local fucking newspapers. We're not talking about Channel 7 news. That's not what we're talking about when we say the media. We're the mainstream media. We're talking fucking CNN, New York Times, the bullshit we just mentioned. So get your fucking panties out of a wad and go write another article for 36 cents. Maybe you'll buy a latte with it. Fuck.
Sorry, I'm trying to find that. Well, I'm trying to find that video, man. And I think it must be something that gets filtered out by like Google because they want to filter out the funny laughing at the fucking media shit.
The Atlantic one got taken down because they realized what an asinine headline that was.
This shit was so funny, dude. It was like showing like it was filtering like white people, like white men's rights for voting rights may need to be looked at or taken away. And it just filters it to Jews' rights to vote. It's a legitimate. Yeah. And it echoes like seriously the same rhetoric from like fucking Hitler speeches.
Yeah, it's allowed on social media. To Facebook's credit, they won't let you say white trash. I caught a fucking 7-day ban for that.
They don't let you say that on Facebook either.
Yeah, that's on Facebook. No, dude, Twitter will let you shit on white people all you want. Twitter, when you type, like, if you type something that might be offensive, like I don't argue with people on Twitter. They come at me, I'll just tell them to shut the fuck up. It'll ask you like, "Are you sure you wanted to say this?"
That's it. Like, This is it, dude. The fucking Huffington Post. That's what I was talking about. Yeah, they pull up like Huffington Post, BuzzFeed, Salon, and everything. Yeah. And they pull up then they just type in white people in like the fucking search bar. Yeah. And you get like, if white people thought about race, like people of color, how to be a better ally, an open letter to white folks and stuff, like all these things.
Oh my God.
And then they go into their add-ons on Google and then they like click and it just says literally Hitler on. And it just starts playing like it's like a saloon article where it was said the white people must be stopped. The very future of mankind depends on it. It switches it to the Jews must be stopped. For 500 years, they've exploited their fellow man and plundered the planet. It's time they rein themselves in.
That's
a Hitler speech, man.
And you know what's funny is the majority of the people that write shit like that are white women. Like overwhelmingly white women write articles like that.
Could it be time to deny the Jews the franchise? Where it would be, could it be time to deny the white men the franchise? This redistribution of the world's wealth is long overdue, and it's not just South Africa where Jewish males own a disproportionate amount of wealth. Like, dude, that's literally, if you translated that to German, like you could see like Goebbels giving like a speech.
Seriously, or Hitler or somebody like, no fucking shit, dude. It's hateful.
Isn't that crazy?
And like,
it's fucking crazy, man. That's salon.com. That's like the Huffington Post.
My thing with that is like, I'm not offended by it. Fucking say whatever the fuck you want. I'll laugh and say you're a dumbass, but don't get like, if we're going to do that, the playing field's got to be even. You can't get mad when other people say shit like that about other people, about other groups of people. It's just a fucking fact, man. I think either way, if you were saying that about Jews, about white people, about black people, gay people, I think you're a fucking retard either way.
You know what it is scapegoating, man.
Yeah.
It's scapegoating. That's what it is.
I don't think there's going to be a Holocaust against white people anytime soon. Don't get me wrong.
Probably not. But I mean, the rhetoric is still there. You know what I mean? Like,
you sent me the racism.
Yeah, I want you to watch that, dude. It's so fucking funny.
No, that's like, but yeah, no, I mean the rhetoric, like, because it was what's her face, Gina Carano or whatever, the chick from The Mandalorian that lost her job because she said that it's like being a Jew in the 40s. Now, obviously, she wasn't saying there was a holocaust of conservative Christian people going on, but it's true. Like, my thing is, dude, I have conservative friends and I have liberal friends. I have conservative beliefs and I have liberal beliefs. I am way more comfortable talking about my liberal beliefs with my conservative friends than vice versa, because I won't be shamed and called a fascist white supremacist because I believe that the income taxes should be a little bit lower. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Or maybe, hey, because that's the other thing is the way they have just gaslit people about inflation, about how and the prices of everything. They'll ask the fucking press secretary. They'll be like, hey, why is a loaf of bread twice what it was a year ago? And she'll snap back and basically call you a white supremacist. Like, oh, sorry, you can't afford to buy your gun for the month. Like, it's shit like that.
Oh, really? She said that?
Not word for word, but it's shit like that. And then Biden's on a fucking a press conference the other day, and he's like, gas prices are the highest they've been in 15 years. It's almost $4 a gallon. That's all he said. I'm like, yeah, man, you're in charge. What are you gonna do? Don't dude, tell me what's wrong. I'm living
He's basically the same as Jimmy Carter, man.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah.
The Democrats aren't gonna win again.
If he were to
2 years.
If he were to come out and be like, yeah, gas prices are higher than they ever been. Here's what my administration's doing to fix that. I may agree with what he's doing. I may disagree, but at least he's given a fucking plan. You're pointing out an issue that I see and deal with every day. What are you, if you're not going to tell me what you're going to do to fix it, shut the fuck up and don't talk about it. That's what I weigh. Keep talking your way out, dude. Fucking.
You see where people have started putting "Thanks, Joe" on stickers on the gas pumps.
All the time. It's pictures of Joe Biden pointing. It says, "I did that."
I know. I've literally seen 2 different gas stations here, man.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, whether it's right or wrong, the average voter is going to vote on how much money is in their pocket. If they look at their finances and see things like, "Hey, I'm not going to visit my mother as much because she lives on the other side of town, and I don't want to keep paying the gas." Guess who they're going to fucking blame for that? You know, they don't give a shit. The average voter doesn't care about Trump dissing the CIA or having nasty tweets and all. And Trump's not going to be the nominee in 24. It's not going to be Trump.
I hope not, man.
No. I think a couple of people to watch are Ron DeSantis in Florida.
Yeah, they need like the right wing version of like Clinton, because Clinton was like a very like moderate like left guy back in the 90s. You know what I mean? After like the economy was kind of in the shitter in the beginning of it. I think they're gonna kind of do that with the Republicans. I think that I really do think that basically why Biden won was because like they basically fucking lit a fuse under all the young people that actually went out and voted, and they were like, yeah, we don't like Trump, so they got out. They literally didn't vote Biden because they liked him. They voted because they just wanted to see Trump get kicked out.
No, and I think people voted. I think you're right. People voted for stability, because I'm in Omaha District 2 or Nebraska District 2. It's Omaha and some of the outbound cities. It went for Biden by about 4 or 5%. And then in the congressional race for the same district, same exact people voting, you had Don Bacon, the Republican, who was more of a middle of the road, moderate Republican, versus Kara Eastman, who was hard left, and he won by like 9 points. People voted for stability. There's no way there's that 13-point swing from president to Congress with the same exact people voting, unless people are looking at the election and being like, I'm not going to vote for the whack jobs. We don't need crazy people in office right now. Now, we got a stuttering moron that doesn't know what fucking day of the week it is. So I don't know how much better that is than a crazy person. So, but you can see it with how Congress, or with how like the votes for Congress and Senate and stuff like that.
I wish that one of the like better Democratic nominees would have won that, man.
Tulsi
I still
Gabbard.
can't. Yeah, Gabbard, or like, I mean, I know you're not a big fan of Andrew Yang, but I like Andrew.
Be better
Yang.
than Joe Biden.
Yeah, it just sucked that it's like all of us young people that like liked those kind of younger candidates.
Yeah,
were like, oh man, these guys are awesome. They're like a little bit more like center. You know what I mean? They're not really kind of trying to push a lot of real crazy stuff, like a lot of crazy rhetoric stuff that's gonna divide the country and everything. And they're just like, very specific on their issues and stuff, but then you're like, oh, I guess Joe Biden's winning and Kamala Harris is his VP. Oh, dude, God,
that was decided. That was decided 2 years before it happened.
Literally, dude. Who could have saw that happen? Oh, God.
Yep, that was decided 2 years before it happened. Like, It was, dude, Kamala, there's a Democratic, it came out the other day. Democratic operatives think Kamala and Pete Buttigieg are the future of the party. And I'm like, dude, people hate those two.
Yeah, talk
people
to like
hate
actual
those
people
two.
who are like consider themselves like left wing. Like
she has dude, she has the lowest approval rating of any vice president ever. It's like under 25%. Like,
yep.
If she's the future, you will never hold office again.
They're trying to, I'm telling you, man, it's the media is trying to push that narrative so people think it's true. Like,
well, the cat's out of the bag on her. She's an evil. Biden's a stuttering moron that's losing his mind because it's turned into silly putty. She's evil. If you learn about the shit like lying and hiding evidence in court so she can win as a prosecutor, she's an evil person. There are people still in jail that committed no crimes because Kamala Harris cheated in court, and those are the ones we know about, you know. And it's like, I hate to, have you been following the Rittenhouse trial at all, like any of the updates on it? Did you see where the judge made the jury leave the room because the prosecutor tried to use Kyle Rittenhouse invoking the Fifth Amendment as an attack on him? He tried to say that you waiting for a lawyer
I've heard
to talk to the police.
I've heard it's become this close to being a mistrial, dude.
Mistrial with prejudice, which means they couldn't try him for anything again.
Yeah.
So it's, I mean, dude, people that watch Law and Order SVU know you can't do that. Yeah. The only reason is you got a reasonable judge. How many other people that can't afford an adequate defense is this guy pulling this shit on? You know, withholding video from the defense that would have otherwise proved him innocent for the entire everything leading up to the trial and then whipping it out at the last second. Just slimy shit like that. Trying to say that you waiting for a lawyer before you talk to the police is evidence you are guilty. Fucking he should be disbarred for that.
That's like the fucking what they did with the Central Park 5, man. They literally did that to them, and that's what made them go to jail. Dude, like
that's exactly it. This is a high profile case where everyone in the world's watching, so he's not going to get away with it. Yeah. How many fucking people is this guy doing this to? How many people are doing tons of time on stupid drug charges or whatever because this guy's lied and cheated his way through the cases? He should have that one time, the first time he did that, trying to use the Fifth Amendment against him in court, he should have had his license to practice law in Wisconsin
he should have been
taken
disbarred.
away. Absolutely disbarred and had.
That's breaking like a constitutional.
You're violating. Yeah, he violated the Fifth and First Amendment. There was something else he did with the First, but I mean, he should have charges pressed against him. What people think they're doing is they know they can't win, so they're going to they're shooting for a mistrial, but not with prejudice, so they can keep bringing up new charges against him until he just runs out of money, gets desperate, and strikes a plea deal, and they go, "Oh, look, we won." And that's what people think they're shooting for a mistrial, because prosecutors do that all the time because they have unlimited resources.
They basically, they'll crack somebody over the fucking kneecaps with a 2x4 to get them to fucking take a plea deal.
They'll price you out because you don't have billions of dollars just sitting there. They do.
It sucks because they do that to fucking, like, they do that to minorities.
I know.
Communities all the fucking time, man. And somebody's around when an alarm goes off, so they just, like, the cops pick that fucking kid up.
Yeah.
And they're like, you stole this shit. And we don't know where you put the stuff, but we know you stole it. All right, take the plea deal.
Every day. They scare these kids with these crazy felony charges, get them to plead down to a $75 fine, and then put them on diversion and probation for 6 months and make money off of them. That they do it to they do it to black people, to Mexicans, to poor white people all the time.
They do it to white kids. Yeah, they do it to white kids all the time, dude. They did that to my fucking friends.
I had a friend had that happen to him too.
Yeah.
And guess what? He pled down, got popped for something else a couple months later, and they used that against him. Well, you pled guilty to this. He could have fought it. He got caught in some stupid shit, and it was used against him for his previous record in court. It's corrupt bullshit. And this is a white guy. It happens all over the fucking country. The fact that I'm seeing so many Black Lives Matter and Antifa people actively rooting for this prosecutor to keep cheating in court tells you it is not about reform. It is about civil war. It is about us versus them. It is about division. It's nothing to do with police reform. Man. Destabilization. Yeah. It all goes in the same.
It's about furthering their little narrative. But it's like, I still think that, like, the whole like police reform narrative was taken over by the divisional, like, fucking,
for sure,
the divisional types.
Absolutely.
Still, like, it sucks.
If you actually cared about police reform and prosecutorial misconduct that happens all the fucking time,
there was plenty of
call a spade
people
a spade.
There was plenty of people that, like, bring up like legitimate police reform that should happen. You know what
Absolutely,
I mean?
there's a ton of
it just gets fucking mixed in with the police need to pay minority communities a fucking monthly stipend.
Yeah,
like
it's
what?
like it gets.
Where does that
mixed,
come from? Getting rid of implied immunity, dude. Like,
dude. It's like there's so much shit that absolutely should be reformed with the police. There's a lot of shit, but then you get into these people that we should just replace police with social workers. Police shouldn't be allowed to carry guns, and it just gets mixed in with the craziness. And dude, you'll meet a lot of police officers that support reform, like actual police reform. They're tired of being bullied by the unions.
It's funny. You know what they say is the biggest thing for them not wanting to get rid of implied immunity is it would make it harder to find like police. And I'm like, yeah, you're damn right it would, because it would make it harder for them to get away with fucking crime.
Well, that's the thing, man, is they're pushing this whole anti-police thing is pushing all of the good cops away. You got people that genuinely give a shit about their community, and they're seeing all this anti-police stuff, defund the police, blah, 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 and hold them accountable for everything, attack the police. And they're just going, you know what? Fuck this. I'm not going to fucking sit here and deal with this. I'll find a new job in the private sector doing the same kind of stuff, and I'll make more money, and I won't put my life on the line every day. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to walk away. And and you're getting to a point where the only people who are going to want to be police are racists and fucking people that just want to give me a reason, make my day, motherfucker, shoot somebody. Like those are the two types of people you're going to start getting. And it's only going to get worse. Like we've only touched the beginning of it,
I think
it's shitty.
Yeah, I think that should be the episode for today too, because we've been going for about an hour.
Yeah, what should we call this episode? Unplug? Unplug from the media?
Yeah, right. We should. That's what people
literally
should
Hitler.
do,
we
man.
can't call it literally Hitler. We'd get taken down.
Yeah, we would.
I'm sure we get algorithmed out at the best case scenario.
Literally an Austrian painter. That's what that Facebook, that Facebook fact group thing, the random fact page I always tag you in.
Yeah.
All the time. That's how they get around they filter Hitler to an Austrian painter, and that's how they get around. That's how they get around it. Literally an Austrian painter.
Yeah, we'll call it that. Fuck it. That sounds like a fun name. Anyway, December 4th, Wired Pub will have the Harmful Content Comedy Showcase. Don't have a headliner yet, but we'll have one hopefully by next week. I'll post the link in there. Remember, promo code BREAD, BREAD, not breeding. Bread is in the food. Gets you $3 off. It gets you tickets for $5 online. Otherwise, they're $8 online, 10 at the door in cash if you don't buy them in advance. So do that. Come hang out. It'll be a fun time. We had a fucking awesome show on Friday. Like it was packed. And
really, that's awesome, man.
I hope we sent a fucking message to all these fucking pussies out there that want to try and control comedy. There's still venues out there that'll let you say whatever you want, so y'all can fucking eat a dick.
The fucking the monopoly's getting broken up.
Yep.
You're the Teddy Roosevelt of comedy, coming in and shooting bears and shit.
I am the Teddy Roosevelt of comedy.
Should have used that, man. Use that on a tag or something like a Teddy Roosevelt of comedy, dude. Teddy breaking Roosevelt. Up all the monopolies.
Hey, you know what? If people got a problem with it, come up with a better show. The problem is people are starting to figure out that when there's two shows on the same night in the same city, and one of them's a bunch of woke bullshit and the other one's advertising is content that's actually funny, where do you think they're going to go? Even if it's in not as good of a location. So that's all I'll say.
Fuck it, man.
Fuck them. Fuck it. We're, like I said, David Terrell Green, there's a culture war. David Terrell Green was our headliner. He's been on the show before. Go check that episode out if you haven't. It was really good. He's a good guy.
Fuck yeah, David Terrell Green's
a good guy. Yep. We'll have to get him back on soon. Zach Bravietti just got back from Brazil 6 weeks. We're going to have him on here. We're going to talk about his Brazil stories next week, I think.
That'll be great. I wonder how many trannies he ran into.
Dude, he was telling me the stories. He's like, dude, you are worshipped for being an American down here. He's like, it's like being a celebrity. He said,
that's awesome.
He was like, dude, like the drinks are like a fucking $1 at the bar and shit, like they're like 50 cents in American money. And it's like, people will give them to you for free just because you're an American. Like women threw themselves at him for being an American. He's like,
That's
it's fucking
awesome, dude.
He's like, dude, it's like this is what it feels like to be a celebrity. He's like,
damn, man.
He fucking loved it down there. But yeah, we'll get him on soon. He'll talk about
Did he go to Rio de Janeiro?
Yeah, he was in Rio for 6 weeks. Yep.
Yeah.
He's like, dude, he's like, I was worshipped for being an American. So like,
That's
we'll get him
awesome,
on and we'll
man.
talk about his escapades down in Rio de Janeiro.
All right, yeah, that'll be hilarious, dude.
All right, it's literally an Austrian painter. Thank you guys so fucking much. We'll see you
Deuces,
next
y'all.
week. Peace the fuck out.